Here in the Northland, 2024 was marked by weird weather, deadly gun violence, and political surprise.
Here's a look back at the biggest local stories we covered in the last year. 2024 began on a tragic note. On the night of January 8th, a gunman randomly opened fire inside and outside the Cloquet Super 8, claiming the lives of 22-year-old Shelby Treadle and 35-year-old Patrick Rowers. 32-year-old Nicholas Linnaeus then turned the gun on himself. 2 nights later, the community came together, remembering the victims with a candlelight vigil, providing comfort to Shelby Treadle's family.
She's touched so many lives that she just really had no idea, and I just honestly wish you could see this.
Months later, police revealed Nicholas Linnaeus never knew his victims and had meth in his system at the time of the killing. In a region known for extreme cold and snow, 2024 will forever be known as the Northland winter that wasn't.
So this was open water at one point, probably about a week ago.
In January, iced over lakes began opening back up, leaving anglers stranded on Red Lake and Lake of the Woods. Record warmth and a lack of snow canceled the John Bear Grease Sled Dog Marathon. Then in February, the Berkey and Hayward became the next casualty. The 50th annual race went on, but only for a select few skiers on a smaller track made of snow that had to be trucked in.
I don't think I would have come if this was any other year but the 50th. To have, wish it could have been the full thing.
And by the end of February, the unthinkable in northern Minnesota. Golf courses like Big Lake and Cloquet opened up for the season, cashing in on the lack of winter. But for businesses needing white to make green, 2024 was devastating.
2 Saturdays ago, we had 2 young guys come in. That's the only 2 snowmobilers we've seen all year.
Many restaurants and bars along snowmobile trails needed state and federal help to stay open through the season.
Thank you.
On January 25th, the Twin Ports became the center of the political universe. President Biden touching down in Duluth before making his way to Superior, touting a $1 billion investment in Blotnick Bridge reconstruction.
For decades, people talked about replacing this bridge, but it never got done until today.
Outside, protesters and supporters lined the streets, letting the president know how they feel.
No more money for Biden's crime.
Those demonstrations foreshadowing what would become a very tough year for the president.
Just a beautiful lodge and a wonderful setting. It's really sad to see this happen.
A piece of North Shore history went up in flames in the early morning hours of February 6th. The Lutzen Lodge burned to the ground. Thankfully, no guests were there at the time of the fire. The owner of the 80-year-old wooden building on Highway 61 says he wants to rebuild. However, he was later removed from the operations of another North Shore resort. The investigation into a cause remains open. A historic Northland neighborhood became the source of concern and confusion in March. Billionaire Kathy Cargill was buying up and demolishing homes up and down Park Point, and no one knew why but her.
No, you don't have to give us details or anything, but just maybe give people a little bit of sense of relief or calmness.
While Mayor Reinert said Cargill was well within her rights, he wrote to her expressing concern with the impact her actions were having on the neighborhood and housing market. Cargill eventually told the Wall Street Journal she planned to build homes for her relatives, add natural areas, fund a sports complex, and add a coffee shop. But she said she's scrapping all of that, blaming comments from the mayor and folks online. May Day 2024 was filled with protests in Duluth. A pro-Palestine march through downtown ended at City Hall, where the demonstrations would continue for months in the form of an encampment. Occupants calling for the city to divest from Israel and pass a resolution calling for a ceasefire in Gaza.
We generally get pretty inquisitive people coming through here, and of course we get our fair share of aggressors who just come shout something like terrorist or something and then drive off.
It wasn't until early August that police and garbage removal crews moved in, forcing out encampment occupants. Severe storms brought damaging flash floods to northeast Minnesota in mid-June, with upwards of 8 inches of rain falling in a short amount of time. From Duluth to the range, homes and businesses were inundated with water, like this O'Reilly Auto Parts in Hibbing.
And the water just kept coming in. It was like watching the Titanic sink.
From Lake Vermilion to the North Shore, roads washed out, bridges washed away. And a couple days later, all that water made its way into the city of Cook via the Little Fork River.
That flowing water across roads, we're seeing a lot of washouts.
Overall, the June flood event damaged more than 2,000 homes and businesses, causing north of $15 million in damage. In early August, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz was elevated to the national stage, named as Vice President Kamala Harris's running mate.
Thank you, Madam Vice President, for the trust you put in me.
Walz attempted to join Hubert Humphrey and Walter Mondale as Minnesotans ascending to the vice presidency, an attempt that would ultimately come up short in November.
Northern News Now.
First responders hitting ambulance have a school bus rolled over Highway 5 and Town Line Road. Sounds like it hit another vehicle.
The morning of September 12th was terrifying for students, staff, and parents of Cherry School. An SUV ran a stop sign, T-boning a bus carrying 20 kids, sending it rolling into a ditch. A witness reported seeing students crawling out of the bus on their own before being helped by Good Samaritans and first responders. Amazingly, no one involved suffered life-threatening injuries. The crash also brought safety concerns about that intersection to the forefront.
So people fly, and by the time you've seen the stop sign, it's too late.
The county replaced existing stop signs with blinker stop signs and added stop ahead warning signs. A study is being done to see if more long-term changes should be made as well. Later in September, a rare sight for our neck of the woods. A large tornado on the ground in the Cotton area north of Duluth County.
Thankfully, no reports of damage down there as well, but it made for dramatic photos.
The Weather Service determined it was an EF1 twister with winds of around 105 miles an hour, damaging a handful of properties and swath of forest.
Devastating, I know that. Never would have thought it'd happen to me.
Thankfully, no one was hurt. A shocking crime devastated Duluth and the region in early November. 46-year-old Anthony Nephew shot and killed his two sons, as well as his current and former partners, before turning the gun on himself.
It's shocking. It's devastating. It's heartbreaking. It's not something that we hear of here in Denfeld neighborhood.
The community immediately rallied around family and friends of the victims. Impromptu memorials popped up for 7-year-old Oliver Nephew, 15-year-old Jacob Nephew, 45-year-old Kat Ramsland, and 47-year-old Aaron Abramson. Days later,
and this mom's love live on in us, guiding us towards kindness.
Hundreds came together for a candlelight walk between the two homes where the murders took place, honoring those lives lost. Investigators say Anthony Nephew had a history of mental illness. He even wrote about it in an op-ed published in the Duluth News-Tribune. If you'd like to see all of our coverage of any of these stories, you can head to our website or download the Northern News Now app.